Naomi to join the Hurt Business. Now, the WWE draft started Friday night on SmackDown, and we've already seen some big moves between Raw and SmackDown. One such move was the two-time SmackDown Women's Champion Naomi moving over to Monday Night Raw from Friday Night SmackDown. Now, of course, that was only night one of the WWE draft. Night 2 is tonight on Monday Night Raw on the USA Network. But Naomi, we're going to focus on Naomi's move to Monday Night Raw, what it could mean for her. Specifically, could it mean her joining the likes of MVP, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander in the Hurt Business faction on Monday Night Raw? Now, there's no doubt that Naomi's going to be an absolutely brilliant addition to the women's division on Raw. And it already looks like that MVP is interested because the leader of the Hurt Business reacted to Naomi moving to Monday Night Raw on SmackDown last Friday by posting a tweet which was subsequently retweeted by Naomi. And it looks like once again that MVP is teasing another addition to the Hurt Business. Now, of course, the last member to join the Hurt Business was Cedric Alexander. He turned on his friends Apollo Crews and Ricochet to join the faction. MVP also said he had a spot in the Hurt Business open last Monday night on Raw, offering it to Mustafa Ali, Ricochet and Apollo Crews in the group's fight against Retribution. However, it was revealed in the end that Mustafa Ali is actually the leader of Retribution, and Ali got his minions, the likes of Slapjack and T-Bar and others, to lay out the Hurt Business on Monday Night Raw last week. Now, of course, the Hurt Business as well, they were involved in the draft Friday night on SmackDown. They were drafted to Monday Night Raw, so nothing changes there. But it could, and I say could because you never know these things, but it could have a future edition of Naomi as the first female member of the group. Now, Naomi's last appearance on WWE TV saw her pursue the SmackDown Women's Championship in recent weeks. Her last actual appearance, I must say, was on the Beat the Clock Challenge with Bayley and Sasha Banks ahead of SummerSlam on Friday Night SmackDown. Now, of course, she's actually out of action at the moment. She had surgery on the 24th of September. She posted the following update on her Instagram story with an image of her laying in a hospital bed. It said, quote, "In the midst of Hurricane Sally and COVID, I also underwent an unexpected 6-hour surgery to finally remove a massive fibroid that's caused me severe anemia, fatigue, horrible abdominal pains, and more problems I don't even want to mention over the past year and a half. I'm recovering well, I'm relieved, and I'm already feeling so much better. So family, friends, and fans, don't worry, I'm okay, lol, miss ya," end quote. So when it comes to Naomi in the Hurt Business, I've been saying for months and months and months that Naomi should be the first female member of the faction. There's even a video here on the channel that I must have made. It must be at least a couple of months old now. It blew up a little bit after Naomi was drafted to Raw and MVP did the tweet teasing about her joining the Hurt Business, but I've been saying it for months that Naomi should be joining the Hurt Business. Naomi needs something to do. Her booking on SmackDown has just been terrible. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Her booking's been terrible. You've had her in karaoke showdowns. Remember that segment? I've tried to forget it, but I can't. I still have nightmares about it. You've had her losing to Lacey Evans by getting her hair tied into a post. The booking's been so bad, it almost it created a movement on social media. It was Naomi deserves better. Hashtag Naomi deserves better. That's how bad her booking has been that you've made a movement, which says a lot to the SmackDown creative team and Bruce Pritchard, the executive director of Friday Night SmackDown, that the booking of Naomi has been terrible. Now, as I mentioned, she beat Bayley in a Beat the Clock match recently, which was good. But to be honest, she really hasn't been doing anything of substance since returning to the WWE at the Royal Rumble earlier this year. And at this point, she's been with the WWE for what, 10 years, maybe longer if you factor in developmental there. She's a former champion. She's a former two-time SmackDown Women's Champion. She's over with the crowd, and I know there isn't a crowd there right now, but on social media, she's definitely over with the people on social media. They made a hashtag movement about her, saying that she deserves better. So she is definitely over, and she can most certainly work. She's one of the better female workers on the roster, one of the better workers in general on the roster. So when it comes to Naomi, I think this is the infuriating thing with her and her booking when it comes from the fans on social media and just anyone that's a fan of WWE is, what more do you need? What more do you need from her? Why isn't she being factored in here? So I'm glad she's been drafted to Raw. They need bodies and they need challengers to face Asuka, who is, of course, the Raw Women's Champion. New challengers, not people that Asuka has faced before. And Naomi ticks all of those categories right there. And of course, if you look at things from the Raw perspective, you don't have Becky Lynch right now, you don't have Charlotte Flair, and you don't have Ronda Rousey, all of whom were members of the Monday Night Raw roster, so they need stars. And Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch aren't even involved in any of the draft pools for this year's draft. Charlotte Flair is, so I'm assuming we'll find out more about her future tonight on Raw. But I think Naomi as a heel in the Hurt Business could be just the perfect challenger for Asuka. It really could. Asuka's the big babyface female on Raw right now, deservedly so. The last 12 months or so, Asuka's been absolutely fantastic on Monday Night Raw, and she's really held the baton, held up the mantle of being that top star in the Raw Women's division in the absence of, as I mentioned, Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair. Asuka's done a fantastic job, but she needs heel challengers, and I think a heel version of Naomi in the Hurt Business just ticks all the boxes there. It could be absolutely fantastic. And plus, with a female member of the Hurt Business, this is why I was so keen on having a female member of the Hurt Business in the first place, is as the Hurt Business faction, you touch more than just one segment of the show. If you're the Hurt Business right now and you've got the guys in there, you've got MVP, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, yes, you can have multiple matches in the show and you're in multiple segments, but you're only really touching one sort of aspect of the show. If you have Naomi in there, you're touching the female aspect of the show, and then you're involved in not only multiple segments, but multiple divisions. I would also like to see maybe Cedric Alexander team up with Shelton Benjamin, or team up with MVP, then you can go after the tag team titles, then you're touching multiple divisions. That's why, in the first place, that's why I wanted Naomi in the Hurt Business, because I think once you've got multiple members of the faction that are involved in different divisions, that's when you can really start to take over the brand. You can really start to take over the show, and the show can really become centered around the faction in the Hurt Business. And I think that potential is there for the Hurt Business. I think it's very, very good. So you don't just have the single segments, you can also be involved in the women's division too. So the Hurt Business there can be involved in every aspect of the show. And I like the idea of the woman being the talent here, and the female superstar being the talent here, and MVP being her manager and her mouthpiece for some of her matches too. I think that's unique. How often have we seen it whereby it's the roles reversed in those gender roles? We've seen it with Andrade and Angel Garza and Zelina Vega, where you've got the female valet. Why can't you have Naomi as the talent and have MVP as the manager and the mouthpiece? I like that. It's different. It works. So I think that can be unique. And you've got to look at the track record of the Hurt Business here. You have to look at the track record for what it's done for people's career. Bobby Lashley, prior to joining up with MVP, was involved in terrible, terrible angles on Raw, whether it was with Lana and Rusev, whether it was Lio Rush, being involved with King Corbin or Baron Corbin, Constable Corbin, whatever he was at the time. His booking, since he returned to WWE in 2018, was horrific as well. So similar path to Naomi. Shelton Benjamin, before he joined the Hurt Business, I mean, he was doing absolutely nothing. He was wrestling on main event, and then when he was on SmackDown with Gable, he either just mocked Gable for being short, or even had promos where he didn't say anything and just did weird looks. Yeah, that was working great for him. And Cedric Alexander, he had a brief push in 2019. Vince McMahon soured on him, decided he didn't like him. It was the same with Ricochet. And I think Cedric Alexander was first prior to Ricochet. It was the same thing with Cedric Alexander. All of these guys were doing nothing, and then once they joined the Hurt Business and were involved with MVP, suddenly they're factored in, and they've been doing good stuff, and their talent is starting to show. So all three guys there were doing absolutely nothing, and anything they're involved in was awful, poor, creative, and dull, and now they're all thriving. So why not add Naomi into that? And that's really, really exciting. And also, I think another thing you have to factor in of why Naomi would be such a great fit for the Hurt Business is that the Hurt Business, of course, are currently feuding with Retribution on Monday Night Raw. And we all know that Retribution also has female members. It was Mia Yim and Mercedes Martinez. They were known as Reckoning and Retaliation, respectively. God, don't you just love those names? That's sarcasm, by the way. They're awful. But the people who aren't awful were Mia Yim and Mercedes Martinez, fantastic talents. But it would appear over the last week or so, it was reported that Mercedes Martinez has now moved back to NXT. Now, we don't have any reason as to why she has moved back to NXT, but it looks like that's the case. So Mercedes Martinez is not involved in Retribution anymore. So at the moment, we just have Mia Yim. So I don't know if someone's going to take the place of Mercedes Martinez as retaliation, or whether they're just going to drop that member at all. Either way, regardless of Mercedes Martinez's status, if the Hurt Business is going to feud with Retribution, it makes sense that the Hurt Business also has female members to face off against Retribution's female members. Therefore, that's just another reason that Naomi should join the Hurt Business, so that she can feud with Mia Yim and potentially someone else if someone does replace Mercedes Martinez, of course. So it gives Naomi a credible storyline. It elevates Naomi and finally gives her the spotlight that she deserves and obviously the fans want to see her in. And she can work as a heel. When was the last time, if ever, that she worked as a heel in WWE? So that's different already. That's a complete refresh of her character, which is desperately needed. It allows the Hurt Business to touch all aspects of Monday Night Raw, the entirety of the program, and Lord knows we need some continuity on that program. That 3-hour show is difficult to watch anyway, so if they can tell a linear narrative through that show and actually have a narrative thread throughout the show involving the Hurt Business, I'm more than happy to see that. And it also gives the Hurt Business a female superstar to feud with Retribution's female superstars. So all of it, when you add it all up, I mean, it really does make all the sense in the world, which means, of course, it won't happen. But I really do hope it happens. And I just think, as I said, it makes too much sense not to happen. I mean, surely it has to happen. And I'd be down for seeing a Naomi versus Mia Yim program. I think that would be great. And I also, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, I'd be really down for seeing a Naomi versus Asuka program. I think that could be fantastic. They can have absolutely brilliant matches there. So for me, it's just a case of when Naomi is fit and ready to return to WWE. Of course, she just did have surgery, so I don't know the time frame of how long her surgery is set to keep her out for. As she mentioned, it was a 6-hour surgery, which is absolutely no joke. So I'm sure we'll find out how soon she'll be ready to return, or when she's going to return, or the time frame or timetable for her return to WWE. However, what I would say about that, considering that she was part of the draft on Friday, that would suggest that she is somehow at least factored into the plans. Other superstars that were or are currently injured or inactive, as I mentioned, like Becky Lynch, Brock Lesnar, obviously his contract's expired with WWE, Jinder Mahal's out with a knee injury, etc. There were various more names, Kane involved in that too. But all of those people weren't involved in the draft pool. They weren't involved in any draft pool on Friday or on Monday. So given that Naomi was put into the draft pool, it does suggest there are at least some tentative plans for her in the near future or going forward on Monday Night Raw specifically, and I hope that has to do with the Hurt Business. So fingers crossed we can see Naomi as the first female member of the Hurt Business, and then that would prove my prediction right from several months ago, that we will get Naomi joining the likes of MVP, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander. But of course, as always, this is just one man's opinion. What are your thoughts on Naomi possibly joining the Hurt Business in the near future? Is it something you would like to see? Would you like to see Naomi as a heel on Monday Night Raw? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be sure to respond and reply to all of your comments. Really enjoy interacting with you guys and talking about WWE and all things wrestling on this channel. It's more than welcome. All of your comments and opinions are more than welcome in the comment section below. If you have enjoyed this video, please do smash a like on the like button as well. Really just help us out here on YouTube, go up the rankings and get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos previously. But most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Wrestle News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now, or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video along with another video for you to watch. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers. We're about 30 subscribers away, so if you haven't already, please do subscribe. You never know, you could be the 1,000th subscriber. Who knows? But if you have already subscribed, just know that I really do appreciate it. And like I said, if you haven't already, bottom right hand corner, and you'd be helping us all out here at Wrestle News 365 massively. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. And I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.